It's cool, man. I am getting out of like a weird thing. I entered the pandemic, the pandy wandy, with a weird thing. I got out of this 5-year relationship. We broke up on a Thursday, and then that Monday came around, and she's like, Avery, I need to talk to you. I was like, what's up? She's like, I cheated on you. I'm like, man, you didn't need to tell me that, you know? I would have been fine not knowing that. She's like, no, I did need to tell you that because the guy I slept with had gonorrhea. And I'm pretty sure I gave it to you. And I'm like, man, Mondays are the worst, dude. You know, that's a doozy of a day right there. So I go to the health clinic the next day, and I see this big gay dude at the front desk, and he's like, hey, baby, can I help you? I was like, well, I hope so. You know, I'm here at the health clinic, bro. Hoping you can help me. He's like, what happened? I was like, well, my girlfriend of 5 years cheated on me with a guy named Ben from sales. She got gonorrhea from him, gave it to me. I was hoping you could get rid of the gonorrhea and just basically get the gonorrhea gone, basically. And he's like, oh, baby, I'll take care of you. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean you're gonna take care of me? Which, kind of homophobic of me, but also super narcissistic, because I have an STD right now. There's no way this guy's trying to fuck, you know? But like, this is like my level of narcissism just getting right there. I was like, this guy wants to fuck, dude, totally. I can see it. I can smell it. Man. Yeah, dude, I'm 30. I think I might be gay. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I did have a weird dream, dude. I had a real weird dream. I was like macking on my ex-girlfriend, the chick that gave me gonorrhea, we were just talking about. But then, like, we were macking on each other, take off her pants, and she had a dick, and I sucked it. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, what is happening? So I called my brother. I called my brother up because he's a gay, and I figure I don't know what else to talk to about this. So I'm just like, hey, man, I had a question. And he's like, well, what did the penis look like? I was like, well, I don't know, dude. Like, kind of Asian. He's like pixelated. I was like, you are my brother, dude. You get it? You get me, dude? And oh, like, you got it right away. He's like, that's a good joke. I was like, thank you. Thank you. I've invested a lot of time in several relationships in this. This is great. But he's like, well, I think because the penis was pixelated, you weren't so much focused on the genitalia, just pleasing her, and it's not so much you're gay, you just want to make her happy. I was like, yeah, dude, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that. Repress that for another 10 years. We'll figure it out, dude.
Hey everybody, my name is Broc with no K, and you just got stuck at a four-way stop. This is the #1 comedy podcast in Chicago, recorded primarily out of a Toyota Camry. I've strapped my car with cameras and microphones and have my riders tell me their funniest stories. You just heard a clip from comedian Avery Rapier, who joins me in the back seat for an interview later on in the episode. Stick around for that. I am here once again with my co-host Chase. How are we doing today, Chase?
Hey, Broc. I think this might be our best episode yet. The stories this week are all told by people from Wisconsin. Wisconsinites. Badgers, if you will.
That's right. That's where we're from. I spent a couple weekends up there doing some rideshare in Milwaukee, did a little bit in Madison just to see what kind of stories we could get back in the homeland.
Yeah.
We've got some really funny stories this week, including an awesome delivery story from one of my hometown friends, Josh. Chase, what do you think about getting into the first story?
Let's go.
Let's go.
If you wanna go and take a ride with me, we're 3 women all crammed in the backseat. Oh, why do I live this away?
Hey, must be the funny.
But if you wanna take a free ride with me, make me laugh from the back of my Camry. Oh, why do I live this away?
Hey, must be the funny.
You just got stuck at a 4-way stop.
Dylan, you got a story for us today?
Yes, sir.
What's the topic? What are we going with?
So it's a stupid injury. So I was about 11 years old. My brother stepped in dog poop. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
He was using a toothpick to pick out dog poop out of the bottom soles of his shoes, and so he had a bunch of toothpicks on the floor, and it was in carpet, and I had no idea. And I walked through as a kid, stepped on the toothpick, and it broke in half. And so then the next day I had to have, it was like a surgery, and they removed like a little sliver. And I'm like, dude, no way. Like there's like a quarter of a toothpick left in my parents' living room. Like there's more in there. And, you know, it's like, nope, that's it. And so like it must have just been on the pain nerve. About a year and a half later, I still have this large lump on the bottom. It's on the arch of my foot, and it's hanging out. It looks like a big wart, and, you know, somebody flicks it, it hurts. So then I go to a specialist. They immediately do a surgery, and they take out a toothpick that's 1.5 inches long.
Oh my God.
They come out, and it's like in a little tube, and like they're shaking it. My parents are like, "There's no way that was in his foot," and it's like, "Ma'am," like, you know, and it's like, so yeah, and
That's pretty wild. Like, I'm surprised it didn't get infected from the shit being on it.
Dude, absolutely. And it's like they kind of even said, you know, it's something where being in my body for that long, little slivers could have, you know, kind of escaped, where it's kind of like impossible to see with the eye, but just with what they pulled out, you know, they did that, and they put in, you know, whatever I guess they did. But yeah,
wild.
It's pretty wild. And it was, I guess, off the record. My dad ended up snagging that tube. They said we couldn't have it. We wanted it. My dad snagged it, and like we had it for like 2-3 years, and it was like, all right, that's gross, and then we just tossed it away. But yeah.
Wait, what did you have? You had the toothpick?
Yeah, they wouldn't let us have the toothpick that they pulled out of me, and then my dad ended up snagging it. Like,
oh, nice.
We had it for about a year or two.
It's probably more for like biohazard stuff that like they needed to dispose of it. More, more than they don't want you to have. I don't think they're gonna care.
Right.
But, yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, glad your foot's okay. Thanks for coming on, Dylan.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so we got Maria in the backseat. Maria, you had some crazy work stories.
I do.
What's been going on at work?
So, just for a little background, I'm an operating room nurse.
Okay.
So, so you kind of see a lot of wild stuff there already. I was on call one night. It was a Monday night. It was very late. And we had a guy come in, and he had somehow managed to stick an entire iced tea bottle up his rectum.
What?
Yeah, on a Monday night, too, you'd think. So, obviously, we asked him, so how did it get up there? And he's like, oh, you know, I kind of, I fell on it. And it's just like,
yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. Sure. Okay, that's fine. You don't need to tell us. It's fine. We already know. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So what ended up happening? How did we get the bottle out?
Well, first, you kind of try to lube it up and try and wrench it out as best you could, and they tried that.
I mean, I'm imagining like a 16-ounce bottle that's pretty wide.
Yeah, it was
just like a regular soda pop bottle.
Yeah, not a great shape to be shoving up there.
No,
that's for sure.
No.
Yeah. So they tried lubing it up as best they could, and then they tried wrenching it out, but it I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty up there. So in the end, they had to do like surgery and actually cut into his rectum and have to take it out, which was unfortunate. That's what they were trying to avoid. But
right, yeah, don't stick stuff up your ass.
Nope.
Unless you can get it out.
Yeah, and don't lie. We know you didn't just fall on a bottle. It's okay. We're not judging.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Maria. All right, guys. So once again, stop putting stuff up your butts. Yeah, that's how we're gonna come out of that story.
It does seem to get you in trouble.
Who puts an iced tea bottle up their butt?
It must have been really jammed up there. It needs surgery. Oh my god. I'm like trying to envision it in my head, like physically how it happened. Like, did it have the cap on or off? Like, could it create like suction?
I'm trying to get the image out of my head. Well, let's get into these next stories. We got Jake.
Yeah.
With Oktoberfest. We are coming into October, so this is kind of a perfect story.
Yeah, Jake was awesome. He even sent us some videos of the incidents that he talks about on the show. And so make sure to check that out. We will post that on social media. And this story is about Oktoberfest in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
All right, guys, we got Jake in the backseat. Jake, you said you had a couple stories for us today.
I do got a couple. What
are we thinking about today?
Well, number one, I got to cover a Wisconsin staple of Oktoberfest. All right.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
this is going to be a drunk blackout
And that's
story.
coming up soon. By the time
Yeah.
this drops, we'll probably
I'll be there again this year.
be. Come check out Jake at Oktoberfest, and let's see where the story goes.
If you saw me, you didn't see me. That's always the policy when it comes to me at Oktoberfest, and this is one of those examples. So, a little bit of background on what Oktoberfest is. I'm not originally from Wisconsin, but I moved here freshman year of high school, and I went the first time my senior year of high school, so about 3 years into my experience in Wisconsin, and I will say this, it gives you an exact feel of how the state, drinking-wise and food-wise, is. It's a pretty sweet experience. But
now let me ask, where did you come from?
Oklahoma originally.
Oklahoma, okay.
Yeah. But I've got the full Midwestern accent now. They've got me in the clutches. I eat cheese curds and I drink a lot of beer. So
yeah.
That's all that matters. But to give a little background on what Oktoberfest is for those who don't know, it is a weekend-long bender, okay? And if you're not there to drink, I don't know what you're there doing.
Yeah, don't go.
Every bar's open till 3 to 4 in the morning. They've got every block where the kids basically that go to the UW La Crosse is where it's located.
Yeah.
La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is right up by Minnesota. And it's a weekend-long bender of absolute just getting annihilated. I mean, every kid's house, you got 100-plus kids on the front lawn. You got cops at every corner. It's Mifflin on steroids. Everybody says Mifflin's cooler. It's not. Oktoberfest is better. I did see Young Gravy at Freakfest my sophomore year of high school. Shout out Young Gravy, even though the guy's got a lot of stuff going on right now. So to start this off, I had just got my brand new 2012 Ford Focus. Love this thing, paid cash for it. It was my baby.
Yeah.
Me and all my buddies hop in, pick each other up, and we make a beeline towards La Crosse. Now, kids, I'm not condoning any of this behavior that I'm about to go through, but just be careful out there. We're about 15 minutes out of La Crosse. I would say the average amount of time that it takes for alcohol to enter the bloodstream, about 15 to 20 minutes. We stopped at a Quick Trip just outside La Crosse. Thought we'd pregame on the drive to the hotel we were staying at. Now, like I said, I'm not condoning.
Were you driving?
Behavior.
Yes, it was your car. You said you were driving.
I was driving.
Okay. Now, here's a common thing. Was everybody else drinking on the trip up there?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So I was sober the whole drive.
Wisconsin road trip.
Dealing with shit that I did not want to deal with.
Right.
I.e. stopping so my friend Connor could, throw up on the side of 94 on the way up to La Crosse. But that's neither here nor there. So we roll up to my buddy Parker's house, and, I would not say that I don't have the ability to not control my alcohol use, but this weekend something was just not clicking right with your boy. Something was wrong. And I could tell this first night, I
like when white people refer to themselves as
ya boy. Yeah, well, we got that. It's you got to have the culture, You got to have the culture.
It's all good.
So that first night, I blacked out for the first time in ever drinking. First time I ever blacked out. And it might have been because I pregame before we showed up to the party. It could have been a number of different things.
Did you eat?
I did not eat. That's usually the thing.
That's your,
My buddies all ate Quick Trip breakfast sandwiches, and I did not. And those are usually any
soaker
food,
upper.
Exactly. It's a good sober upper food right there.
I said soaker upper.
Soaker upper.
Sober upper. I mean, they hit on the back end too, but definitely better to.
They're not going to do it every time. That's for sure.
Yeah. Right.
So we wake up this next morning. We're staying at a hotel in La Crescent. I don't know if you know where that is. That's a city in Minnesota just outside of La Crosse.
Okay.
So I'd say it's like a 2 to 3 minute drive outside of La Crosse to get to La Crescent. And I wake up in the bed of my hotel bed, and I'm like, what the fuck happened last night? And they're like, dude, Jack Daniels was the bane of your existence last night. And I said, I cannot believe that this happened. Who am I? I thought I was immortal, but I'm not immortal. I'm the biggest guy in my friend group. Okay. Usually I can handle the most booze.
Yeah.
That was not the case. So, finally to the juiciest part of the story. Now, the thing about Oktoberfest is everybody starts drinking at about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And it's just you got to ride the wave all the way to like I said, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody hits the bars. It's pretty tough. You got to really span it out throughout the day.
Man, I don't miss those days.
Yeah, and the hangover's always the worst because you bender 2 days in a row and it's just yikes, this is awful. Somebody shoot me in the head right now.
If you live in Wisconsin, your life is a bender.
The winter time, at least.
Oh,
Everybody's like, yo, let's hit the lake
But then
in the summer.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna say in the summer, everybody's like, "Hey, let's go drink. We have nothing better to do."
like, I golf all summer, disc golf all summer, like do a lot of fun shit. But as soon as I would say like end of November hits, like when Thanksgiving's over and you have no more family coming for like 6 months,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to come up here and visit, obviously.
Right.
Keep that shit to yourself. That's what everybody always says to us. They're like, yeah, we're not coming up for we'll see you in 6 months. And
Wisconsin is beautiful in summertime.
yeah,
We'll
fall's
come see
great.
ya.
Fall's great. Like, you got the pumpkin picking and shit like that. And then once November hits, it's like, all right, I'm going to be in my house for the next 6 months and I will not be leaving.
Right.
Put your 2 weeks into work. You're going on like a hiatus. It's pretty terrible. So that next morning, we don't even eat breakfast. I cooked shitty, we had shitty continental breakfast at this La Crescent. It was like bagels and cereal and shit. Not even eggs, not like a good breakfast at a hotel. We get out right away, and we start hammering it, hitting it pretty hard. I would say by 11:30 in the afternoon, I had another episode. Unfortunately, to all the people out there that have done this, it is one of the worst things that you can possibly do. I threw up in my best friend's living room on myself in front of about 45 people playing a beer pong tournament in my friend Parker's, not frat house, but it's like the house where all 8 or 9 dudes live. You're not sure if there's 8 or 9 bedrooms.
Like a communal
co-op
kind of
There's
house.
3 dudes that sleep on the couch. You don't know who's friends with who. Somebody does drugs. Somebody's dealing drugs. It's just
everyone's doing drugs.
It's an odd house, yeah. Definitely a step down from a fraternity house for sure, though.
Yeah.
And I kind of come out of it a little bit after I throw up, and everyone's like, dude, I'm so pissed we brought you, and I'm feel so embarrassed. It's terrible because, one, that was my last outfit that I brought that weekend. No. So I had to go throw my dirty clothes on that I wore the day before in the Crescent. I had to Uber, obviously, because my friends were like, you are not fucking touching your car right now. You will die.
That's
so I was like, fuck, all right. So I come back, finally, I feel okay, I showered, feel all right and everything, and then we kind of start. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Boom Cup. Do you know what Boom Cup is?
No, I can't.
You get 45, 50 red Solo cups in the middle of a table, and they're all in a big circles filled. I would say it's like an octagon shape, basically.
Okay, sure.
You have 40 of the cups are filled with beer, and then another few of them are filled with some kind of shit mixture of alcohol, hard alcohol of some kind. And then the middle cup between all these cups is called the shit cup.
Okay.
All right.
There's shit in it.
Yes.
And
so
if you get it in that cup, you got to drink the shit.
Exactly. Or if you're the last one to get a ball in a cup, you must drink that cup, and everybody typically will take their phone out and record you drinking it.
What is it?
It's a mixture of beer, some kind of UV blue or flavored alcohol, and then we'll throw in some kind of Jack or Captain Morgan. So it's just a combination of everything you don't want to drink.
You could just come down to Chicago and get a bottle of Malort.
What is Malort? I hear so much stuff about it.
I don't know what exactly it is. It's poison that they put an alcohol bottle label on it and call it alcohol. It's disgusting. I don't like it.
It's Everclear, kind of?
It's worse than that.
Really?
I mean...
flavor-wise, it's worse than Everclear?
Now you got me thinking about Everclear. Everclear was pretty rough.
It's like paint thinner. I mean, it's pretty bad.
It burns going down. It's been a long time since I had just straight Everclear. Ooh, I'm getting heartburn just thinking about it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, man, it's fucking terrible. But mix that in with whatever else you're mixing in if you really want somebody to throw up.
Oh, Jesus. But as I was rolling on with the shit cup of Boom Cup, essentially, you got a bunch of people in a circle around this table. You're bouncing a ping pong ball into these cups, and you try to stack the cups onto other people, basically. So you got two folks around the table at one time trying to get this ping pong ball into this cup. There's one stack of all the cups that have been stacked on top of each other.
Okay.
And then the other one is the single cup that somebody starts brand new. So you have to drink it and then try to get the ball into the cup. In this instance, I was the last person at the table to make a cup because I was so inebriated, so uncoordinated, and I already am uncoordinated as it is. Do not have the hand-eye coordination that I should. but I
Are you usually okay at the
myself legendary status. And for all the douchebag frat boys out there that think they're gods at that shit, I will fuck you up. Do not ever play me in that shit. I'm still like 22, and I could still fuck some people up in beer pong. I do not care what you think. Yes, I drink this shit cup. Shit cup is full of a bunch of different kinds of alcohol that you don't even want to drink by themselves. Anyway, I drink said shit cup, and I start again feeling the bubbly wobblies in my stomach, and I'm like, fuck, man, this is not good, not good, not good. And again, we snap into another blackout.
Wait, front ends or back ends?
Both.
Okay.
We snap into another blackout. Now, this one was not as bad at the beginning. I have video evidence of me walking out of the house with my friends to go to a bar to get Bloody Marys. And I guess at some point between that path into the bar to get Bloodies, I started to lose my ability to walk. And my friends needed to drag me off of the sidewalk, away from the police officers that were on the corner of like 187th and Wisconsin or something like that was the street corner. They drugged me into one of those like nice college condo apartments and left me in the lobby. They changed my lock screen on my phone, ladies and gentlemen, to the notes screen that said, "Hello, I am Jake. My friends are currently at said bar on blah, 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 blah. Here is Parker phone number at, like, it was like whatever his phone number was, and then please call if he needs to be moved or removed from the premises." Dead serious. I still have it saved on my phone today.
That is super smart.
Exact. And they left my phone, like, on my chest. So if anybody picked it up, they'd see and read it, like, on my note screen. Like, this is Jake, you know, do not touch him. He's okay.
He's not dead.
He'll wake up in a minute. Like, just leave him. Well, they literally were out for 3 additional hours, and they came back, and I was still laying there. But this time, I had urinated myself.
Yes, you did.
There was video footage. I still have said footage. It was Parents' Weekend, I guess, for some of the sororities at lacrosse,
nice.
And a group of girls and their moms came in while I was rolling around in my own piss.
We love the mom. We love moms here at the Four-Way Stop.
And they were it was a group of like 7 of them, dude. They were trying to drag me like away from the front door and over by like one of the couches, totally trying to help me out. My buddies were videotaping it, and they were like, "Fucking just leave him alone. Like,
let him be.
Let him be." But I finally awake from my slumber. Sawyer, my best friend, he waited for me the whole time until I woke up when they came back from the bar. What
nice.
A fucking guy.
Yeah.
I wake up. He's like, "What's up, buddy? Everything okay?" And I'm like, "Oh."
How you feeling?
Just groaning. Like, no audible, like, actual
yeah.
words were being said. So I think by this time it's like 6:30 at night. And I've wasted a whole day. Like, a whole day's gone by. And the hangovers already started to hit because the day before and then now drinking all day and then falling asleep in the lobby of a apartment during the middle of the winter, not very good for your body. So
you just started drinking again?
I started drinking again, but this time no blackout after that. But it was just like a whole 24 plus hours of me like not recollecting anything that had happened to me.
Did you just like stick to light beer on that last day?
Yeah, Coors
usually
Light
the
and
way.
a little bit of Spotted Cow.
Yeah.
But I let Sawyer drive my car, which might have been a mistake, to the Goodwill that was like probably 6 or 7 blocks down the street.
Oh, to get some clothes.
And I rocked out a whole Goodwill fit. You guys, if you ever are in a pinch, you puked on yourself, shat yourself, pissed yourself, anything happens to you, somebody even throws up on you and you're not the responsible one that day, go to Goodwill, get yourself some black dress slacks like I did, some old guys like New Balance shoes, and rock a Hawaiian shirt with like a shitty like windbreaker jacket.
I like it.
And I looked pimping.
Yeah.
And you
probably
know,
better than the clothes that you brought with you.
I brought my real like clothes that I thought I looked cool in that weekend. I ruined both sets of them. Dude, I got more compliments on the $12 drip that I got from Goodwill from all the ladies at lacrosse. They're like, "Oh my God, like, what's your style? I love your aesthetic. I love your aesthetic." I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but thanks. You look like you collect rocks. Please don't tell me what my zodiac sign is. But yeah, that's the blackout drugstore.
That's awesome.
Oktoberfest.
Awesome, Jake. Thank you for coming on.
The next story is by friend of the show, Josh. He runs a craft beer bar in Wisconsin, and it's probably the coolest small town bar in the country.
The best.
Recently voted the best bar in Watertown, Wisconsin, and I believe you told me he was voted #1 bartender.
And that's like 1 out of 80.
Local celebrity in the backseat.
Go find out for yourself.
Let's check it out.
We've got Josh in the back seat.
Hey, Brock.
Josh, a close personal friend, known each other forever. We worked at Domino's together.
Yeah, we kind of just always knew each other.
We've always known each other. But yeah, we had some good times over the years. Worked at Domino's. Do you ever have any crazy delivery stories?
The one that always comes to mind is I was speedy delivering. I think I was working with Phil's Pizza at the time.
Best pizza in Watertown.
I left corporate Domino's for, the more oi punk rock pizza company.
Yeah. And I saw you rolling around on the Buick. And
Yeah,
it was like,
that pizza mobile. Going hard, going fast, taking my 7-8 deliveries on one trip. But I walk up to the door, ring the doorbell. I was fairly quick that day. I wasn't trying to peek, but I walk right up to the window, ring the doorbell. Sure enough, right in my vision is this gal sitting on this dude's lap, bouncing up and down.
Oh yeah, nice.
Ass naked. It was happening. But as I rang the doorbell, I didn't think about it. I'm walking up, you don't think about that kind of stuff.
You were already reaching for the doorbell.
Yeah, I was pressing it. It was like I pressed the doorbell and it was like a launch button for her, but he threw her when I pressed that doorbell, and it was funny. He actually launched her I don't know how many feet. And I just walked away laughing. Are these guys going to be embarrassed about this? I don't know.
Did they come to the door naked?
He came to the door in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Is he he saw him? It's like he knew I saw him. And I'm just yeah, I got more deliveries. This is a funny story for the day, but big Domino's guy.
Big Domino's guy. Yeah, that's kind of.
I was not a fan. I got bitched at for wearing a red belt once, and it drove
by
me.
Heidi.
Yeah, it drove me crazy. I'm Domino's. The colors are red and blue.
Right.
Are you fucking insane?
They wouldn't let you wear a red belt.
I actually said, "Are you fucking with me right now?" I was laughing at first, and then she kept going, and she was so serious, and I'm like, "Oh my god, fuck you." I was I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's when, I think I
quit.
Got that new job at Phil's quickly. I'm I hate corporate shit.
I can't believe that it was that they were that strict about a wardrobe.
It's psychotic.
What the fuck?
I hate things that are not logical. Everything should just make sense.
So Josh, you own a bar, I heard.
I own a fantastic craft beer bar in Watertown, Wisconsin. The Drafty Cellar with my buddy Alex.
It's the best bar in town.
It's cool. We got some arcade games, some pinballs. We have a hell of a beer selection because Alex and I are the ones that choose the selection, and we kind of know the game. The beer game, you want the best, we got the best.
So what's this podcast about?
Hair the Dogcast is a podcast about video games and beer and video games.
Beer and video games.
It is more video game orientated because I'm the beer guy mainly.
So you just talk about video games and drink is basically what it is.
Yeah, we drink real live beer on the podcast and talk about the beers, and I'm more the beer guy than any of them, even though a couple of them guys worked for Eagle Park, which is one of the Wisconsin's best breweries. I try to get more beer talk, and plus I'm the anti-RPG guy. I like beat 'em ups and quick pick up and plays and shooters and stuff. But I love all about the beer. It's what we talk about. Yeah. Always check out my podcast, Hair the Dogcast. We're on all forms of listening to podcasts.
Of the Dogcast.
Yeah. And then my personal Instagram at Ghostbuster Josh, if you give a shit. Check out Drafty Cellar and Hair the Dogcast and my man Broc's 4-Way Stop podcast. You heard it, folks. Here tonight, live.
We're signing out. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for having me, Brock.
You bet. All right, guys, it is time once again to turn on your headlights. Today we have Milwaukee comedian Avery Rapier.
Hi.
How we doing, Avery?
Horrible. No, I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well.
You're not going to kidnap me, are you?
Do you have no idea where this ride is going?
I don't think you do.
I really don't.
Are you from, have you spent much time in Milwaukee?
So I lived in Madison, and I'm from Watertown originally. I didn't spend a lot of time. I've never lived down here. I definitely, spent some drunken nights.
Take a left up here, pal.
So Avery, you are a former MMA fighter.
Yep.
Turned comedian.
Yeah.
What's worse, losing a fight or bombing on stage?
I guess losing a fight, just because it's like your physical health and ego is at risk, whereas in comedy it's just your ego. Whereas if you get your ass beat, you're gonna get some concussions, gonna have some maybe some brain trauma issues. I don't know if I have any. Well, I guess we'll find out in a few years. I think getting your ass beat, that one will stick with you, because like with fighting, if you get beat up, you got to take time to recover. If you bomb, you can go do a comedy later on that night or the night after.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of redeem yourself in that way.
Your nickname, Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Does that come from the MMA?
Yeah. Just because there was a lot of chaos. I maybe got started in mixed martial arts. I was just mostly a wrestler, and I had heavy hands, but I didn't really know how to use it, so it was the most technical fights earlier on. It was just a lot of brawling and chaos.
Do you still fight at all?
I train now.
Sweet. Awesome.
I train every day. Actually, that's how I know our mutual friend Bobby is. Her boyfriend is Ricky, who I know through the jiu-jitsu community, and that's how I met Bobby initially.
Yeah, when she found out that I was doing stand-up or trying to do stand-up, she was just like, hey, I'm friends with this guy. He's in the Milwaukee scene. If you ever want to come up and try out in Milwaukee, reach out and just find out. And I mean, you definitely did help me a bunch of open mics.
Have you gone to any?
I was at Puddlers.
Oh sure, my buddy Cody Heck, one of my best friends, runs that room.
Yes,
awesome.
that was a fun night. And then after that, I forget what the name of the other one. It was like a karaoke.
Oh, the High Note.
High Note. There we go.
Oh man, was it a good night or a bad night?
It was actually pretty fun.
Dude, some nights at the High Note is like the best nights I've had in comedy, and then conversely, some of the worst nights. Oh man, yeah, that place gets wild.
So, what are some of the big shows that you've done?
Well, I've gotten to open up for Charlie Berens a few times, and for people that don't know, he's a good YouTube star. He also does comedy, but he went viral on YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff.
Manitowoc Minute.
Manitowoc Minute guy, good Midwest humor. But I got to open up for him in Wausau.
What kind of venue does Wausau have?
Dude, they actually have a huge ass theater.
Do they really?
Yeah, it's like a 1,200 seater, 1,400 seater.
Sweet.
I forget what it is, but it was a big show. And
sold out show.
Sold out, yeah. Back-to-back shows sold out, and then I opened up for him in a few other places as well that were just like in these small towns, but that had one huge venue that was like one was 1,200, one was 1,400.
That's awesome.
And you're like, God damn! And it's like the whole town shows up.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a community.
He did my hometown at Turner Hall and Watertown, and
really?
It sold out in a matter of
imagine.
minutes.
Yeah, I can imagine. He's Midwest famous. He's
so,
Midwest Jesus.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He basically owns Wisconsin right now. What's the green room like at a show like that? I mean, that's obviously a big show for you. What's your mindset? What are you thinking before doing that?
The first few times I did it, I was very nervous, just because I may be getting in my own head.
Sure. I was before this interview, and then
you were nervous before this?
I always am. I look up to you guys. I respect and admire comedians.
Oh, don't admire me, dude. I'm a piece of shit. I suck at everything. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I love it.
But yeah,
self-deprecation is the key.
Very chill. Charlie is a buddy of mine. Like
Yeah.
I train him boxing a few times a week, so I know Charlie pretty well. So in that sense,
Could I take him?
What's that?
Could I take him?
Probably not.
No.
No.
There's no way, dude.
No, but he's a good egg. So I wasn't nervous because I wasn't like trying to impress him because I'm like homie, we're
Right,
friends.
right.
So like I wasn't nervous in that sense. I just was. Everybody had told me who had done theaters before because this was my first theater. The only things I have done previous to that were like comedy clubs and bar shows, which,
Sure, 100 people maybe.
Couple hundred people,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I've done comedy at State a few times.
Oh,
That's like
love
a
that. It's such a
300-400
good venue.
seater. Or Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton. That's like a 200-300 seater.
Skyline's fun too.
Yeah, Improv, which is like a 300 seater. So I've done that, but like going from 300 to like 1200, every comic had told me like, dude, you got to slow your sets down just because like it takes time for your voice to get to the front of the room to the back of the room.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so like people will hear the jokes and then you'll step on your own punchline if you go too quick, like you got to just cool it down. So I was
I'm
just
sure
trying to
that's
stay
different
mindful
in
of that.
every venue too. You kind of have like
The
it's kind of the
acoustics,
the architect of the acoustics of the venue itself.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I mean, like I'm 5 years into comedy, so I'm in no
Okay,
way.
I was just gonna ask that.
No way a master of it, But that is one thing I'm learning as I'm continuing to do this. Is like, man, you got to really take in the room every time you come in, and like.
Now, is that something you're doing right there on stage, or are you testing testing out the vocals of the room before the crowd is there?
Well, yeah, for like the Charlie shows, in theater shows, there's like a whole sound check thing going on beforehand. So you do that on the big theater shows. But for like most gigs, like most little rooms, like bar shows or comedy clubs, I'll kind of just like sit and watch the beginning parts of the show instead of hanging out in the green room if I've never performed there before, just to get a feel of like, what's the room feel like? Where are the people like sitting? Where are the light spots of the room, the black spots of the room? Where are the chatty Cathys, and all that shit?
Yeah, as of right now, we're dealing with the sounds of the road
Oh yeah, does the mic pick that up too much?
No, it's not too bad.
Not too
Hopefully,
bad.
Chase is pretty good at cutting it down. He's got whatever programming.
Oh sure. Man, I give you props for having a full-on conversation while you're navigating through a strange city. That's this is a car accident waiting to happen.
I've always been pretty good at multitasking in the car. I could have a lap of Taco Bell on texting on my phone, and I'm still a better driver than probably 90% of the drivers on the road.
Oh, nice.
We'll probably edit that out, but I do not eat Taco Bell while I'm driving. I eat it in the parking lot.
Yeah, like an adult. Okay?
Right.
Dude, yeah, it's a nice city, but it's a little chaotic through over here. If you want to take a right in a few blocks, then it kind of dies out. You can get out of downtown.
So, is there any other big name comedians that you've done shows with at Appleton or comedy, or is it more like showcases?
Yeah, more showcases.
Okay.
I did get to open up. Well, we got to actually do a UFC show, which was awesome. The UFC came to Milwaukee a few years ago, and like Dana White was there, the UFC president, Tyrone Woodley, Ben Askren, bunch of like UFC fighters were there, and it was basically like a private show I got to do for Dana White and like the UFC
Oh, that's
crew.
awesome.
And that was one of the best comedy nights
Especially
of
as
my
a
life.
fighter, you
Yeah.
gotta look up to those guys.
Yeah, and like Dana White came up to me afterwards, gave me a fist bump, told me I was funny. I was like, "This is one of the best days of my life," and I'm a parent. So
How far up into like the MMA world did you get to?
Oh, I was just an amateur. I didn't
Okay.
fight professionally. I liked doing it, but like you get to a certain level and you're like, okay, man, like this isn't this. If you can't be world champion, like I didn't want to really compete because second place in that sport sucks,
Yeah.
And so I love it as a hobby, and it's definitely one of my passions.
Keeps you in
but
shape.
I'm not an elite athlete.
I could
by
probably use that.
Yeah, I think everybody should do it. Everybody should do it because it makes you respect.
I mean, I just don't want to get my head bashed. Like, I don't want to get kicked in the head.
I feel like training nowadays is a lot safer than it used to be. Like
and you have pads and stuff.
yeah,
but-
and they really like dial back the power nowadays. Like back in the old days, it was just like coming in and fighting full on every class, but it's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Where do you pull your material from on stage?
Well, I'm a father. I have a 7-year-old son, so
Awesome.
a lot
I do
of
as well.
it's through parenting. I'm a personal trainer, so I get to meet like a lot of interesting people. So a lot of relationship stuff, lots of dad jokes, parenting, life experience. I had a lot of storytelling and storytelling jokes, all that stuff.
That's awesome. Any shows coming out? Do you have any?
Yeah, I got some stuff going on at the High Note September 30th in Milwaukee.
Awesome.
Then I'll be in
Come check that out.
Appleton next week. But the big one from Milwaukee is September 30th at the High Note, which is going to be a banger.
Awesome. I think I'm gonna come up and check that show
That'd
out.
be sweet. Yeah, Ricky is coming, so I think Bobby Joe will be there as well.
Bobby Joe, yes. Our mutual friend. Do you have any good stories about Bobby Joe?
I don't know her all that well. I've just honestly said hi to her a few times.
I've been trying to get her to come on. I'm like, you have to come on.
No, she's a sweetheart. Yeah, I don't
she
know
has
her.
so many stories.
I don't know her all that well. I know her boyfriend very well.
Yeah, she's the only she's like one of 3 people that I've allowed to cut my hair, and she cut my hair. I was probably like 12, 13, she cut my hair into a mullet.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
And I went home on my bike, and my mom was just like, get on your bike and go back and have her cut that again.
Wouldn't let you have the mullet?
No.
How old were you?
I think it might have been going into high school or maybe
hilarious.
7th or 8th grade.
Let
something
him
like
have
that.
it. They're making a comeback, dude. A groomed mullet is. I'm not a gay man.
Has it ever gone out of style?
Maybe in like 05.
So
I don't know.
I do have a joke about you can't take pictures of other people's kids.
Oh yeah. don't do
Unless
that.
they have a mullet.
Unless they have a mullet.
That's fair game. You can take a picture to send to your friends.
Dude, that's fun.
Otherwise, don't take pictures of kids.
I think there's a world championship mullet competition going
did
on.
see that. There was like a
2
finalist
kids are
from Wisconsin.
Yeah, two of the
them.
kids were in Wisconsin. I think the guy who won it all is from Wisconsin.
That's
as well.
awesome.
I know, it's crazy.
Wisconsin represent. Yeah, so this is going to be the Wisconsin episode. We're going to put it. We are recording with another comedian later on, but we're gonna all the Wisconsin stories that I have collected or collect this weekend will be strictly for this episode.
Strictly for this.
Yep.
What's the other Wisconsin comic?
J. Tyler Menz.
Oh yeah, he's a good egg.
Yep. Chase kind of found him and was just like, I really like what this guy's doing.
Yeah,
so
Tyler's
reached out
awesome.
and was just like, oh yeah, awesome.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
So should be fun doing
He's
that.
a little
later.
gay, but it's all cool.
That's fine. It's all right. We're all a little gay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you got any stories? Any wild stories?
Any
I know
wild
I
stories?
sent you the prompt.
Oh yeah,
list.
yeah.
Was there anything off of there that hit home?
Yeah, I saw a funny one. You guys were asking like wildest fights we've ever been in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
So my first year into comedy, I had just stopped competing in martial arts and just started coming out to comedy. And I actually got in a fight at a comedy show with a racist magician. Who he was going up at the showcase, and just nobody was like listening to him. He does like comedy magic, but the room was kind of broken up. It wasn't a great show. And people are kind of like chit-chatting in like this bar, right? And very mixed room, like lots of black people, white people, Asian people, all this stuff. And so nobody's listening to him, and there's this group of like black dudes that are just like chit-chatting, and then he's just like starts dropping the N-word left and right in the middle of the bar. And I was like, oh.
Is he a white guy, yeah?
White dude, yeah, white dude. And like hard ER. And it was just getting bananas. And I could just feel the tension, like building in the room. And I could see these guys like gunning for him basically. So he jumps off the stage and then pushes this one dude, this one black dude, and they start like scuffling with each other. I get in like the middle of it, like trying to break it up. And then the magician like punched me in the face, aiming for the other guy, but like punched me in the face. So then I like just kind of freaked out, and then like took his back and then strangled him with the rear naked choke and put him out cold in the middle of the bar. And then we like raised his feet up.
You had him in the rear and naked,
And
you were
called
choking
a
him.
rear naked choke. Yes, it's very sexual. You get behind him and you just say, "Go to sleep, go to sleep." But then, so I woke him up, and then he got escorted out of the bar by the bouncers, and then about 2 minutes later, they just resumed comedy. Like nothing had happened. It was one of the best.
That
nights
is
of my life.
Wisconsin comedy at its finest.
It was great, man. It was great.
Where was that at, did you say?
Up and Under. It's closed now. It
Okay.
used to be this little dive bar on Brady Street, but
Nice.
it went under during the quarantine.
Yeah, I'm sure it was replaced with another bar.
Yeah, man, it was wild.
That is a good fight story.
Yeah, it's fun.
Where can people find you on the interwebs?
So on TikTok, I have a podcast that I do with my buddy called Twice Baked, which
Okay.
is where we take edibles and then we try baking baked goods, and it's a disaster because
I'm checking that out like today.
It's awesome, and
That's
it
funny.
actually, like, dude, it's been doing pretty good on TikTok. So we're trying to keep it going. We're at like 70-something thousand followers on there, so we're just trying to keep ramping it up. So go check that out.
Check that out for sure.
Oh, yeah, dude. Okay, so I was working at Menards in high school, and then I joined the Army right out of high school. And so I had, like, my shipment date for the Army when I left for basic training. It was, like, in middle of July or something like that. And so I knew, like, my last I put in my 2 weeks notice at Menards, and then they, like, bumped up all my shifts. They made me work like crazy on my last 2 weeks, and I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing this, like, on my last 2 weeks of freedom before I leave for like 4 years, you know? And so I basically was just doing whatever I could do to get fired, without actually like quitting and just seeing what I could get away with. And so I was reaching for a can of paint for a customer, and I'm like on this ladder, and it's up on a few shelves high, and I reach it, and I grab it, and it accidentally, complete accident, I drop it, and it falls and spills all over the floor. And then I look at the customer, and the customer is like, oh no. And then I was like, well, that's why my dad left, shit like that. And then so I got written up for that. And my boss was like, Avery, you can't like say that to customers, dude. What the hell's the matter with you? And so then I go, like, I get written up, and then I was like, cashier, I'm checking out this old lady, and she's got like a bunch of different light bulbs, like 1,000 different light bulbs, and I'm clocking, like, just checking in. And then she's like, well, have a good day. And then I was like, well, it can't get any worse. I'm a fucking cashier in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. And she just like jaw dropped. My manager overheard, and that was the icing on the cake. And she's like, Avery, we have to fire you. You can't say that to customers.
So you've been doing comedy before you were doing
Oh
comedy.
yeah, before I was ever on stage. Yeah, I was definitely a class clown.
That's awesome. I love that. So was it really, you said you were trying to get fired, so was it really accident? Hang on.
The can of paint was accidental.
Okay.
But me saying my dad left me.
Right.
That was me. That was all me. Me making the most of it. That's what we call improv in the business. You know?
It is. Yep. Oh, awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks, bro.
Like I said, if you're ever down in Chicago, hit us up. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening. See you next Tuesday.